Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to 19th Dhamma Talk in Mental Health Awareness series. We've been actually discussing a variety of helpful talks about mental health. In today's talk, we will be looking at what care means to us. At the same time, how can we look at it from the Buddhist perspective? Do we care? So it's a very important topic in daily life, especially in terms of self-care. At the same time, caring others. Now, there's a fundamental question that lies at many people's discussions. That is, how can Buddhism talk about caring? Buddhism is sometimes viewed as something that is uh, always encouraging to give up, I would say renounce, and then there is not that many things to talk about that we need to care other people. This is kind of a misconception that many people hold. Uh, Actually, the reason behind why everyone has to, become a better person even before one enlightens is that one is caring oneself. One has to practice self-care. Self-care is such an important topic in that context. Now, even if one continues that journey to liberate oneself, I mean, to attain nibbana, that is also the greatest care that one can, uh, do to oneself. On the other hand, compassion, I would say kindness, loving kindness, altruistic joy, all these are uh, categorized or classified or can be classified as a bunch of support used to practice care. So uh, when we talk about do we really care, we have to look at multiple sections of caring in our life. Now, one of the very peculiar historical incidents that we find in terms of caring. Now, this is what we can understand by the Pali word called Patthana. Now, this is basically about caring the sick people, because you remember when uh, Venerable Puthigattatissa, the monk who got smallpox, who got like those, I would say, uh, those big sores uh, on his in his body, and all the monks they were reluctant to help minister, attend to his needs, and then Buddha himself supported, attended, that monk Puthigattatissa, and he was then addressing the monks. Monks, you have not a mother, you have not a father who might tend to you. If you monks do not tend to one another, then who is there who will tend to you? If you monks do not tend to one another, then who is there who will tend to you? That means you have no mother, you have no father when you become a monastic. Then, if you don't tend to each other, uh, then who is going to help you? Who's going to uh, take care of you, right? So, this is what the Buddha was asking from the monks. And then he also said at the end, whoever monks or monastics would tend to me, he or she should tend to the sick. That means uh, whoever monks or nuns or lay people who tend to the Buddha, those people, followers, should tend to the sick people. That means caring, or I would say, uh, you know, I would say supporting, uh, helping the sick is such a very important, like a Buddha, I would say, kind of a Buddha-like service. I would say like a Buddha puja, like kind of one of the very, I would say the greatest Buddha puja. That means Buddha says that we all have to help the sick people, right? Because that's such a very important, interesting statement that he made. Now, you don't find a lot of information in the Sutta Pitaka, but if you go to Vinaya Pitaka, you can see how Buddha recommended tending the sick people. So, ignoring a sick person, I mean, that is not a way of caring other people. Now, when we talk about caring, it is often attached to caring the sick people. But it is not only caring the sick people, but also, in general sense, it has a bigger meaning. That means we care uh, us. I mean, not to a point where we actually develop that to selfishness. We care just to understand what other people go through, or what kind of a love, what kind of a care that other people should have from us, right? So this is how we're gonna look at, caring in Buddhist teachings. So on one side, it's about helping out. I would say tending the sick people, both mentally and physically sick people, and on the other hand, taking care of every being. Every being's life is important. That is why we are actually doing this series called Mental Health Awareness to protect everyone. We have no exclusion, right? Now, in today's world, a lot of people they are actually uh, having mental issues more than the physical issues. If you see somebody who is very, I would say, well, especially physically, but that person is mostly uh, going through, I would say, mental health issues. That's how we're trying to help them out here. So this is kind of a Buddha puja, like, tending the Buddha as well. When talking about uh, do we care, this kind of a topic, we have to look at caring in Buddhist teachings from multiple aspects. Now, I wanted to look at it from six conceptualized aspects. Now, these are conceptualizations of the concept of caring. So you can check with you whether you have given some thoughts about these areas. Okay, number one, caring as a human trait. Now, somebody may ask a question. This is kind of a fundamental thing. Like, aren't we supposed to care each other? Yes, I mean, we are supposed to care each other. Why not? But there are issues. We don't get. Either some people or most people don't get enough care. That is one issue. And some people, most people don't get care when they need. They get care when they don't need. Because this is kind of a very, uh, I would say, continuously happening thing, right? Now, most of the reasons behind, I would say, taking life, I would say, suicide, probably, you know, uh, some of the crimes, they mostly happen because of an imbalance of that caring part, right? Somebody did not care me. Probably there was a breakup. There was an argument with somebody who was having a good connection with somebody else. So it's more about some issues regarding caring, right? So that's why we had to look at this beyond a fundamental perspective of caring. So we are supposed to care each other, but the problem is, are we care enough? I mean, insofar as we need. At the same time, are we cared when we really need care, right? So, I mean, these are actually beyond. the fundamental question, I would say, primary questions of being cared. Uh, I mean, should be cared by somebody else. So that's why the first aspect of caring from a conceptualization point is that caring can be understood as a human trait, not even as a human trait. This can be an animal trait too, among them. So among humans, this is a trait. But the problem is different people care differently. Your parents cared you differently, and mine was different, and uh, somebody else is totally different, right? But it could be a natural, I would say, it could be a human trait, but uh, the details can be very different from one to one. But we all have to believe we have caring as a trait, caring as a moral imperative. Now, moral imperative. Now, this is kind of going into a, I would say, kind of a ethical point of view. Ethically, we are supposed to take care of each other. If you take a look at all religious, philosophical traditions, they all talk about that. Everybody should be taken care. So, kind of a imperative kind of a thing when it comes to morality. Second aspect. Third aspect is as an affect, kind of a feeling, like we all want to feel that we are being taken care of, uh, whoever the right people. If you are a son or a daughter, I know you feel, you want to think that, you want to feel it, that you want to feel that your parents really take care of you. If you are a citizen of a country, you want to feel that the government is really taking care of you. Kind of an effective quality. Caring appears as an effective quality. If you are a devotee, you wanted to feel that the monastic community uh, take care of your spiritual needs, right? If you are somebody who is working in a company, you wanted to feel that I would say this top management, whoever supposed to take care of you, is taking care of you. So it's kind of an effective thing when it comes to an experience. So now we understand caring as a human trait, caring as a moral imperative, caring as an affect. I mean, this is kind of uh, the feeling tone, I would say, the feeling tone of that experience that we all have. Even animals can have this, feeling tone, I would say, affective quality of being cared. Like if the pet's owners do not care them enough on a daily basis, they might not be happy. They might show their reluctance to, love them back. Also, it can be taken as an interpersonal interaction. If you are in a relationship, if you are in a marriage, if you are in a such kind of a thing, then we understand that it is definitely going to be an interpersonal interaction. So in order for you to maintain your interpersonal, I would say, connections, interactions, you should maintain, you should keep continuing your caring. It's not like you care a lot today, but tomorrow you totally forget about him or her, or your parents, or your children, or whoever, right? So if you are not doing that continuously, then your interpersonal relationships are at stake, right? So then that's not a good thing. So we can also see caring as an interpersonal interaction. Also, when it comes to therapist, it can be uh, a therapeutic intervention. Caring can be a therapeutic intervention. I mean, you know like if you see medical treatments, we know the doctor's treatment, and then the treatments from uh, caregivers or nurse or whoever, such people, they also matter a lot. Sometimes the treatment's also gonna work very well when the caring part that comes from nursing, caregivers, uh, healthcare aides, you know, make that happen in a better way, right? So that means caring is also a therapeutic intervention. You can just say that caring is just a, I would say, ad hoc uh, activity or a behavior of somebody. It is a big therapeutic intervention. Finally, caring is a spiritual intervention. It is a spiritual intervention. I mean, now if you can look at some of the very untamable people that the Buddha could tame them down. For example, Angulimala, right? Angulimala was such, uh, uh, you know, undisciplined, at the same time untamed, a very horrible, terrible, dangerous thief, at the same time a criminal. But uh, but the Buddha was able to show him that he has enough care. He has an abundance of care towards his plight, his whatever the journey that he's actually going, uh, you know, uh, at that point. And then he felt that this person is somebody who really wanted to help me out, right? So this is very interesting because in our society, when you really want to help out somebody, especially those of them who are really struggling in their life, probably because of the association with the bad friends, probably because of their poor decisions, you should not have prejudgmental thoughts about them. I mean, if you really care them, I mean, they might be the best people because none of us were bornly, I would say, bad people. We're not born bad people, right? We were born as natural people, right? Society, environment, and what we've been advised, and all these things matter to us, right? So that's why we have to look at caring as a spiritual intervention too. Now you understand a couple aspects. I know the most important area that you wanted to listen to in this talk, then how to care. Do we really care and how to care people? I mean, if I can share some of the tips, yeah, I'm going to share you 12 tips today so you can learn how to care people better. So now the problem is, we how to self-care. That's a Buddhist concept. How do we self-care? Now, we are supposed to take care of our physical health. That is no wonder, no surprise. So that means you need to eat well, healthy food. You need to stay well. You need to clean yourself. You need to refreshen yourself. You need to freshen up. You need to everything, right? I mean, do everything whatever you feel good. That means you are taking care of your physical health. We don't have a hardcore way of telling you that this is how you have to be, uh, this way and that way. On the other hand, mentally, do we have to self-care? Yes. I mean, we know that when there are multiple things, multiple tasks are directed at us, and we feel that we are stressed out, we can be depressed, we may be anxious, maybe I would say going through different other mental issues. That's the point where we have to take care of us. We have to understand that mentally there are things can happen to us, although we take care of our physical health. But if you are not taking care of your mental health, your emotions, your feelings, your whatever the surrounding circumstances, situations, with a better mindset, with a positive mindset, with a calm mindset, with an insightful mindset, then that means you are mentally sick. That is not a really good thing. Probably you know a lot of them. Probably you are a devotee of a temple. Probably you know a lot of books. But the problem is, if you don't understand how to take care of your mind, especially to keep the mind steady, calm, quiet, peaceful, not getting, I would say, bombarded with unnecessary, uh, I would say, gossips and rumors, and I would say negativities, You're good. You're so good. That means you are really self-caring. So when you self-care yourself, both physically and mentally, then you have a way to think about how to bring this forward. I would say, you know, towards some uh, more organized practices. For example, I would say Noble Eightfold Path, right? Satipatthanas, four mindfulness practices, right? So those are kind of like more organized practices. Once you become a better person, then you are tapping into those things, right? So you are really self-caring in that way. Now, not it is not only that you self-care yourself, but you also need to care other people. That's very important. That's where Buddha asks us to practice uh, four Brahma Viharas. Although this is a fundamental teaching, but I wanted to share with you. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka. So now these are really interesting, not uh, from the perspective of talking, but I mean, uh, from the perspective of practicing, to make your life a very better place, like a very peaceful place. Now, metta, how does metta uh, need to be practiced, extended? Now, that means we care us, and then we can actually send the same care towards other people, right? No, there. I mean, uh, there are no conditions to our framework when we practice metta, right? And then karuna is the same thing. That means you empathize, and then you practice empathy to make it become this fuller version called compassion, right? And then mudita means you are able to be happy with what other people have. I mean, you are not going to be a jealous person. As Buddhists, you are not supposed to be jealous. And then upekha means the balance. You are going to find the balance. Now, this is very important because even the Buddha's search in terms of liberation was based on the balance, right? So if he could not find the balance, he would have, left up with either self-mortification, Atta Kilimatana Yoga, or Kamsakalikana, which goes by, uh, you know, indulgence, like self-indulgence, right? So he was able to find a balance. In our life, we should be able to find a balance. So we had to practice balance as a normal, virtue in our life. How does it apply to our normal thing? Let's say you study. You're not going to be somebody who is too much into study. Study is one thing, and then your other things too, right? Sports is one thing. You're going to balance out your life. Work life, family life, you're going to balance it out. You are not going to do one or the other too much, right? Such balance is such a very important, uh, supportive to spending a life with a lot of happy, I would say, points, right? So now, caring, self-caring, and then caring for others is such a very fundamental thing. But we have to keep such things continuing. The problem is some people run out of energy in practicing this thing. At the same time, they might not know what can they do to accelerate, boost what they already know. So here we're going to talk about what can they do to develop their practice of caring, uh, especially towards other people. I know there are a lot of people who, mumble and grumble that their loved ones are not caring them enough. This is a big serious problem. The main problem is there's no one way to care the person. If you are in a relationship, you should understand your other half very well, right? Because different people expect caring differently. Let's say you are with somebody, then you have to know what his or her interests are, how he wants, needs you. If you are a child, then you should understand how your parents treat you. I mean, I hope that there will be some uh, places where you can have a chat about this thing, have a good talk with them, conversation about this. But more than that, it is always good to understand each other very well, so your practice of caring can go smoothly as a fluid. Dama folks, if you have any questions, please post them on the comments. I can answer your questions in the meantime. Okay, so now the first step that I want you to think about is, now you have to be very sincere, very honest with what other people look for. I would say you sincerely ask people how they are. I mean, this is very interesting because if you are not understanding, let's say, if you are not listening to the other person, that even if you are in a relationship or not, you probably not understand how does caring, uh, I would say, work to both of you, right? Although you might say that you are a caring person, the other person might also say that he or she is also a caring person. But the problem is you never know how to start it off. I would say how to begin this, right? So that's why it is always good to have some good active listening skills. I think we did a talk about active listening before. So it's always good to listen to each other, talk to each other, to figure out whether there are any suspicions, there are any doubts between, right? So that's very important. So since you have to be very sincere, very honest, right? Sincerity, honesty is such a very good quality as in the Metta Sutta. So be very sincere, honest about what the other person really feel, or how other person really wants to be cared of, right? It's a good way of starting your practice of caring. Now somebody may question at this point that do we have to do to everyone? This particular no. I mean, I'm talking about the people who you really want to care, especially your loved ones, the people who are in your, uh, I would say, uh, you know, the circle, your inner circle, right? But for other folks, you have a different way of caring them. I would say, I'm not saying that you are not doing the same thing, but you have this friendly nature, metta, right? You are caring their life, you are caring their safety, but you are not too much close to them, right? I'm talking about initially about those loved ones and your inner circles, right? And then we can have a common idea about what we are supposed to do to other people, as I said, with metta. So try to have an active communication with your loved ones so that you are better understanding about how they want to be cared. And also, when you talk to them honestly, that person also will get to know how you want to be honestly cared, right? Your mental and all the needs, right? Just because you cognize that this is the way I want to be cared, or just because you think that other person might uh, need this kind of caring, would not work, because these are kind of like, you know, I would say speculations, right? Speculations might not work at this point. So the first step is please be sincere, honest to know how the other person wants to be cared. I hope that if they are honest as too, then things would not be that much hectic. So you can find practical ways to be, you know, practicing care towards them, and also that person will understand how you want to be cared. Now, most people have this issue. Now, in today's world, most of the problems that a lot of families and uh, I would say people who are in friendships have is not questions, issues about, I would say, money and then children. It's about lack of communication. Lack of communication is the biggest loophole, I would say, the problem in today's world. when it comes to politics, when it comes to families, uh, everywhere, when you don't listen to other person, then your problems will be problems. They will never be solved. They will never be tabled. So you have to find out ways to talk, talk positively, talk more about the solution, talk less about the problem. Okay, number two. Now, this is kind of a part of the first one, but I can say you need to observe the needs of others, right? Now, there is a sort of a sensitivity that we need to practice as well, because if we are not sensitive to what other people have to say, we may not be able to catch up on what they want uh, us to care for them. So just observe how other people want to be cared. Now, the first one is that sincerely approach your loved ones and ask how you want to be. And also, second is that you need to observe, continuously, periodically, regularly, how other people want to be cared, right? Because if you don't, then you may miss out on this important piece of your life, right? Although you might be a very good person who wants to care, but you don't understand how to care, when to care, where to care. That's why I ask you to observe uh, each moment, each day. Now, for example, relationships, they are everyday things, right? Every day you have to maintain your relationships. Every day you have to maintain your friendship. Not like you are very friendly today or you are very loving your other half today, but tomorrow you are not doing that. And then things might fall apart, right? So that's why I'm saying that caring has to happen every day, not just one day, one specific day. Every day you're gonna maintain. So that's how you're gonna observe. Social media. Well, I mean, social media to many people is a place where people get messed up. But in my understanding, it is like a double-edged knife, right? Like a sword. I mean, you had to use it for the proper right cause, for the right stuff, right? Otherwise, do not blame the tools. Tools can be dangerous if you use wrong, incorrect. So the point is that use your social media to understand your loved ones mindset. I would say, let's say you kind of keep up with somebody's post that you really love, probably you other have, sometimes they are sharing. I mean, you can understand what they think, right? You should not neglect what they post. Probably they post something they really want to say, but they can be very direct, right? So observe their social media, or I would say your loved ones, whether they need any help, they need some more caring, right? Number four is that you could create a schedule to check on the loved ones that matter to you, right? Now, schedule means that, we all have this lame excuse. The lame excuse is that being busy. I'm busy, so I have no time to take care of others. But that's kind of a lame excuse. So we are not supposed to make that lame excuse. Uh, uttering all the time that we are busy so we can't have time to take care of others. But you should be able to regularly make some, I would say, contact with those who you really want to, right? To give your care. Maybe a phone call, maybe kind of a continuous practice of calling your parents. Sometimes parents are always neglected by their kids, right? For whatever the reasons. If you have your parents, you can actually keep in touch with them regularly, and you can keep in touch with your loved ones well, right? Your children. Let's say if you are not keep in touch with your children very well on a regular basis, they might turn to other avenues. They might turn to bad friends. They might turn to games. They might turn to you know money squandering stuff, because they need care. They're looking for care. That's why you have to create a schedule in checking on uh, people, I would say loved ones that matter to you. That's also a better way to maintain, develop your practice of caring. This is very interesting. Try to find ways to help, even it is a small thing. Now, this is interesting. Do even a small thing in a great way. Sometimes it's a small thing, but you do it in a great way. Now, a lot of people, they only want to do things greatly only when it turns out to be a great thing. But let's say it might be a simple thing. It might be a simple, I would say, uh, kind of a help. Probably opening the door for somebody, probably offering a ride home, probably uh, doing grocery for a gentleman, probably taking time to talk to somebody, taking time to listen to somebody just for a minute, just for 2 3 minutes, right? That might really help that person, uh, because in the way that person might think that, see, uh, and even amidst many activities, you are dedicating your time to the other person. So do even a small thing greatly, right? Do not uh, consider, do not label, brand even a small thing as small thing. Let's say you are doing a small help, but do it in a great way. It's a great way of caring other people. That means you are doing wholeheartedly. You are not focusing on many other things. You are focusing only on that particular activity for that person, only focusing on that particular person at that time. That's a very good way of caring other people. In today's world, a lot of people, they make this complaint that although we have a lot of comforts, but we don't feel that we are really cared by those of them who we really love in their life. Number six is that you could sort of keep up with some of the encouragement notes, right? Now, probably, some inspiration, right? Some wishes, right? Time to time, you can share, you can exchange, right? Sometimes, you all message each other, right? You can send a positive message. I mean, without making it a kind of a personal issue, uh, to inspire everyone, right? Start your day with positive motivations, aspirations, right? So you can inspire the other person, right? So these inspirations are really good for somebody to read in the morning, right, when they check out their messages and then start their work, right? So inspire other people by ways of sending encouragement notes. That means if you do the opposite, there are people who always send bad news, bad stuff, negative stuff. You are not caring other people, because this small thing that really can give a negative effect on the other person can really destroy their feeling of being cared, right? Always be positive. That's very important for all of us. Another way to show care is that we need to, I would say, serve others in better ways, right? So, sometimes we might feel that we need to wait, but if you are really a wise person, you understand what the other person really needs at that point, right? That's why we have to have this, what do you call this wisdom mind, right? And wherever you go, whatever you do, you are really mindful and wise, so that you can care other people very easily, right? You don't need to ask, you can feel that this gentleman, this lady, this person needs care, so I need to provide my care in a better way, right? So try to be sort of inquisitive about how you're going to serve other people in a better way. This is very interesting. Number eight, give without expecting anything in return. Now, this is the biggest problem a lot of people have, especially when it comes to care. Now, we know a lot of people, they say that I cared so much, but I'm not giving it back. Now, Buddha has already always told us that whenever you want to care other people, never ever expect anything in return. This is not only a Buddhist idea, Even in Hinduism, we have this Nishkama Karma Yoga. That means do your activities without desiring the effects, or I would say, uh, results, right? Now the problem is, do we have to always do things without expectation? Yes, spiritually speaking, yes. Now, if you look at some of the very higher teachings, like in Abhidhamma, we are always asked to practice panya, that means amoha. In order for you to practice amoha, wisdom, you need to give uh, give up all the thoughts, attachments that you have towards the thing that you are doing or giving to the other person. But unfortunately, sadly speaking, a lot of people can't make that happen because they are having a lot of issues with that particular activity. So uh, they only withhold loba dosa, I would say, greed and hatred temporarily, and then they do it. Spiritually speaking, as I said earlier, we should be able to practice panya. That means we have no expectations at all when we are doing any help, any caring to other people. But the problem here is that, is it a kind of a healthy practice? Is it a very practical thing? Sometimes it's not. Let's say you are someone who wants to be positively, influenced by the other person. You want to have a good friend who always says to you, actually, thank you very much. I'm very grateful, appreciate. So you need these positive prayers, positive sayings, right? Okay, if that is the matter, I mean, I don't look down upon that idea, right? That means we need good friends, even though we don't expect that they going to tell us that thank you or not, but they are good people. That's why Buddha said to us that we have to be surrounded by the good people, panditas or sappurisas, wise friends, right? So wise friends always positively understand, comment positively, give their feedback positively. So that means there's no harm. It's no harm that if you are surrounded with wise friends, so that they will be really caring you enough. They are actually thankful to what you do, right? Although your fundamental, your deep thought about every action, speech, thought should be free from expectations, but it is always nice to be surrounded with people who are really grateful, kind, appreciative of what you are doing. But never expect anything in return. This is the fundamental suffering that we all have. We expect something, we don't get it. Why we want to expect? Let's say I care you. Now I'm carrying you a lot in this talk, but I'm not expecting anything in return from you. The only thing that I expect is that may you be able to take care of yourself very well. May this Dhamma help you out in figuring out your issues. At the same time, let's say in today's talk, we talk about caring. So you accelerate, you improve your levels of caring, and then you also understand other people in better caring them. This is the only thing. Rather than thinking that way, there shouldn't be no thoughts that should be expected from the audience. In the same way, you also need to care, uh, without expectations in return. Number nine is be approachable. Now, this is a big grumbling complaint, winning that a lot of people make. They always say, my loved one, my partner, my I would say spouse is really a good person, loves me a lot. But the problem is when I want him or her, he or she is not emotionally available to me. That's a big problem. That's why it is said that you always need to be approachable to these people, loved ones, your partner, your wife, your husband, your parents, right? If you are making millions or billions of lovely prayers, statements about caring towards other people, but if you are not creating your life to a level where you are approachable to such people, they are not being taken care of by you, and you are not doing your job too, and they are not also able to care you enough, right? So be approachable. It's always uh, you organize your life, your time, your I would say your way of presentation of your life, your availability, and everything, right? So try to organize your time and and your life so that you can care enough other people, and at the same time other people can care enough uh, towards you. Number 10, or I would say another tip is that you can share. Now, this is kind of a very famous statement in English. Sharing is caring. Sharing is a part of the concept of caring, right? So we are, as Buddhists, we all know that sharing is the best way of practicing dana. If you can look at the dana concept, the Buddha clearly identifies two Pali words, dana samvibhaga rato. Dana Samvibhagaratu means you have to practice giving, but at some other point you can't practice giving because you can't give everything you have, right? Because you have to enjoy or you have to use too. Then what can you do? Instead of giving, you can share. Let's say you have something you can share with other person. So Dana Samvibhagaratu. Rato means you are into that particular activity. So dana means giving, sangvibhaga means sharing. That means even when it comes to, I would say, caring, sharing is a bigger part. In one of the suttas, in the Sutta Pitaka, Buddha says, if people know the price or the significance, importance of sharing or giving dana to someone, just as how he knows about dana, nobody will eat alone. That means if we know, just as how Buddha knows about the importance of dana, we will never eat any single morsel of food, mouthful of food, any bite. The reason is that we don't understand it properly. We understand it from some material, physical points, technical points. That's why sharing has has been confined to a very limited place, like offered to only monks, right? But we have to practice generosity at all times. So that's very interesting. At the same time, we have to understand sharing in the sense of, caring uh, can actually combine kind of a practice. I would say a combined practice. That means caring has to be practiced with sharing at all times. Because why you want to actually care your loved ones, your friends, and other folks, because you wanted to share yourself, right? That's number 10. So always try to practice sharing because you can accelerate, you can improve your practice of caring. Number 11 is active listening. This is kind of a part of what we talk about at the beginning, active listening. Good people talk less, listen more. Uh, Fill up the opposite. There may be good people who talk a lot too sometimes, but the thing is that if you are a good person, you should listen more. Then there are less problems, many solutions, especially for your loved ones when you want to practice caring. And prayers, this is very interesting. This is actually really good for you know for a context where we see spiritual blessing. Now we always bless all of you, right? May you be able to have the perfect health. I would say, may you be able to have health, good health, quality of your life, and all the goodies. Why don't you uh, send a prayer, kind of a blessing towards your people who you really care? They will feel really good about you, right? That's not a costly thing, right? To say that what you feel about the other person, right? Be safe, take care, right? These words are really important. These are actually not only words that you express to your, I would say, your loved ones, your children, your parents, and whoever the other people. These are actually really wholehearted, I would say, heartiest feelings, and then mixed up with the, I would say, caring, right? So time to time checking whether your friends, your loved ones are okay. Probably you can send a kind of a prayer, kind of a uh, be safe, care, take care, right? Take caution, right? Uh, be mindful, be wise, right? Those are also good ways of caring other people. So now you understand that all these steps, if I give you one more time, the list of 12, sincerely asked about your friends and loved ones, how they want to be cared. Number two, be observant of their needs, of how you need to care them, and they will do the same thing for you. Number three is maximize your social media to understand how you can, uh, improve your practice of caring for others, because they are sharing what they feel. Maybe you can find out whether they need some emotional attention. Maybe they need something that's why they are really hopeless and sharing stuff. Number four is that you can create a regular schedule in checking on the people who matter to you. Number five is that try to do even a small caring in a greater way, in a great way. Number six, you can send some encouragement, I would say, as inspirations to them. Number seven, always try to put your caring in action. So number eight is that uh, uh, you know always care other people without expecting anything in return. Otherwise, you care and then you will be worried a lot, right? Why you want to be worried about after you doing something really nice to other people? And always try to be approachable to others so that you are uh, able to support, care them very well. And number 10 is that sharing also goes you know uh, with the caring concept, because when you share, that means you care too. And number 11 is that active listening, always try to listen more. Number 12 is try to send some prayers. That's really good, right? Take care, be safe, always you know organize yourself, I mean, in a better way, not to put other people down, not to manipulate them, right? You have to find out the better tone depending on the person. Finally, what I can share is that this everything comes from a compassionate heart. If you are not compassionate enough, you are not able to practice any Buddhist practice. Caring is such important because it's the action part of compassion. We call it kindness part. So we all need to be kind at all times. uh, Especially we have a different way of dealing with it with our loved ones and inner circles, and we have a common way of caring other people, treating that they are beings. Every being, like how did the Buddha mention this? Sabbe tasanti dandasya sabbe, right? This way. The Buddha said everybody, everyone is feared at, I would say, violence, right? So we have to treat everyone in the same way. It's kind of a golden rule in Christianity, but we say that we have to respect, we have to, take care of everyone in a common general mindset. But when it comes to inner circles, we understand how we need to care because they are always mattering to us on a daily basis. So we had to do this both hand in hand, and then try to maintain our practice of caring. So, Dhamma folks, today's topic was, uh, do we care? We we do care, but the problem is sometimes people in inner circles don't feel that we care them enough. That's why I suggested you to practice these 12 steps. At the same time, you may be a caring person, but you are not, uh, I would say, doing your practice of caring uh, in best possible ways. So these are two things: caring uh, not enough, and then caring not in the right ways. So these are Two very important aspects that you have to develop, you have to improve through these steps. So this is what I've been trying to share with you today. Any questions, Dhamma folks? You can type in here in the comments so I can take one more minute for the questions. Okay, I don't see any questions coming up, so I may proceed to the transference of merits to departed folks and the deities. May all the good karmas we been collected so far be transferred to all the departed relatives. Uh, may all the departed relatives be able to receive all these good karmas. May they be able to, I would say, attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's recite the stanzas. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. We have a custom in practicing, I would say, transferring, I would say, sharing. Normally, we transfer good karmas to departed folks, but we share because devas and nagas, they already living with us in different realms. So may all the good karmas be shared by all the devas and nagas. May they protect all of you for good health, quality of your life, prosperity. And probably today we talked about caring. May they be able to provide you more inspiration, more power, more magnificence, more inspiration for caring other folks. May the devas and nagas also improve their life standards, and may they be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana as well. So, say sadhu and recite the stanzas. Ettavata cha ammihi sambadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu samsampatti siddhya Akasattha च बुम्मट्ठा देवानागा महिन्दिका पुण्यन्तं अनुमोदित्वा चिरं रक्षन्तु लोकशासनं चिरं रक्षन्तु देशनं चिरं रक्षन्तु मां परन्ति. Finally, let's make our great wish, which we always wish at the end of every ceremony. May all the good karmas which we've been doing so far be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana selisse nichang vadhapachayino chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sakka sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And I wanted to say that please take care. At the same time, have a very wonderful day for those folks who joined from Asia, and have a good evening and good night for those who joined from Canada and the United States. Take care. See you in another episode, probably with another interview too.